Welcome to the Read Your Keys podcast. I am your host, Joel Lopez. If you are enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, squish, smash, pulverize those like and follow buttons. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. We're doing it again. Another special edition of the Read Your Keys podcast, the college football edition. Ricky Baby.
Mr. Lopez.
First game I'd like to talk about, OU versus Kansas.
You know,
boy, Caleb Williams. I like him.
He looked like Rattler in the first half, though, didn't he? 10-0 was the score at half.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, it's hard to win a college football game, right?
Georgia disagrees with you, but continue.
No, but Georgia's been doing this. They don't like year in and year out. Like this is an anomaly. Like those Bama runs and stuff like that. Like you forget. Like you think that they're supposed to do certain things a certain way every week, and that they're machines. But you forget, like, hey, these are still 18 to 22-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. On any given Saturday, someone can play the game of their life, and somebody can not play well. Like you expect a certain level all the time, and it's sports. It doesn't happen that way every single time. The thing with him, I'll take it back to something you can understand. What the year that Miami won the national championship, they were dominating, right? But then they barely beat a Boston College team, like off of a interception, right? Like you can have all the talent in the world, but it's just the way it goes, and that's something that's always stood out to me. So it's like, hey, you want to win the beauty pageant, but sometimes you just got to win the game.
You're right. I agree.
And
I can understand.
Caleb Williams on that fourth down play where he rips the ball from the tailback and then gets the first down is like the crucial, like that's it. We talked about having it. Whatever that is, the kid has it. I just don't know how to put it any other way. Like I'm no quarterback guru, right? I don't know all the mechanics and stuff. I just know that he can run really well, and he throws with confidence. Even when he throws picks, he's still confident, and everybody else is still confident in whatever he's doing.
That was high football IQ, high awareness,
mm-hmm.
high leadership. Knowing what the situation was. It was.
Did you know that you could do that? I don't even know if I knew that you could do that. If you could just like,
well, I know you can do it. I just never seen it done
behind the line of script. Well, because the thing is, like, usually once you hand it off, what most people would do is like, hey, I'm gonna try and get behind the pile and try and push him forward to try and do. I wouldn't think I'm in front of him, because you always think forward lateral, right? Like that's what's always in your mind. It's like, oh, we can't forward lateral it. But behind the line of scrimmage, you could do that. It looked like he knew that was something you could do.
Yeah.
Like you said, high football IQ. This is a true freshman we're talking about here.
Yeah. I love Caleb Williams.
Love me some Caleb.
You really love him, but yeah.
It's just it.
So you like him better than CJ Stroud? Because you were really high on CJ Stroud.
I'm going off of what I saw from like their high school highlights, and I saw like, talent, right? Mm-hmm. You could see like, hey, whatever it is, but it's different once they get into the big stage. Also, it depends on what kind of program you go to, what they let you do. All that stuff matters. So Lincoln Riley looks like he's letting Caleb Williams do, whatever he needs to do to be successful. And CJ Stroud, but the thing is, like, I think CJ Stroud still has a high ceiling, but it's a lot of fun to see the new kid on the block and just do what he's doing, right? That's always like, it's one thing if he was like a junior or senior, like this is a true freshman. I don't even think he was playing high school football last year. I don't think they were, because he was in DC. I don't think he got to play last year. So this kid is played 3 years of high school football.
Opted out his senior year, or didn't play,
or didn't have the opportunity, because depending on what state you were in, I don't know what the rules were in DC.
Oh yeah, you do.
Well, I figured they wouldn't let him play, right?
Right.
But then they could have, like, California had they had like a spring football season, so they could have done that. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. But anyway, I'm assuming he didn't have senior year. So we're looking at a guy with, limited reps comes in and is doing the things that he's doing there. It's exciting. It really
So,
is.
so when you compare those two, I compare them because they're both freshmen, right?
Well, I think CJ Stroud is a redshirt freshman.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
But CJ Stroud has Ohio State practically is the best offense in college football right now. They are literally rolling. And so they scored X amount of, I think it's like X amount of games at 35 points in a row. And so some of the analysts have them as the number 1, 2 team in the country, the way they're playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's CJ Stroud. And they got the running game. The thing that impressed me the most about Caleb Williams, other than that play, despite a bad half, number one, coach stuck with him, didn't pull him, didn't put a short leave, didn't throw in Rattler. And number two, he responded.
Mm-hmm.
So he could overcome adversity. So, yeah.
I was thinking, I wasn't really surprised that they didn't play well against Kansas. I think it was an early kickoff, but then it was like 2 weeks of like really emotional games, right? They went Texas and then the TCU, his first start, like everything is rocking. It's like, okay, like this guy, he's still a young quarterback. He's still very young. So
Kansas is it's a setup game, right? Because
they're not a good
Kansas.
They're not a good. Yeah, you have no reason to be up for that game. So,
none, and they weren't. They were flat.
Yeah, they were very flat. But they won the game, and that was just one of those where it's like, hey,
they won the game. They're still in the talk,
and you still see those flashes of the things that make you say, yeah, this is why this kid was. So my hats off to OU. I'm on the bandwagon, man. I'm on the boomer schooner. I'm on it.
Oh, you just jump everywhere, boy.
I
you
jump everywhere.
Jumping jack.
Nah. He's exciting for college football.
I love him.
I haven't as much as Bryce Young is really nice to watch play. It was kind of an expected thing, maybe. So I don't know if that makes.
That's another freshman. All the freshmen are Heisman candidates now.
That's crazy. I think he's got to be the kind of the front runner right now because he's been doing it since the beginning. He's so smart with the football, man. He really is really smart with the football. Let's go finish with the last week's game. All right, the big upset, Illinois and Penn State. Did you watch this game?
No, I did see some highlights of the game.
I had to watch it because the UCLA game was supposed to be on, and this game went into the 9 overtimes. They changed the format, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Don't.
I do not. I
Why
think after the third overtime, they basically go to 2-point conversion. So they start off, at the 2-point conversion. So each team gets a chance to do it.
One time.
Yeah, one time. So it's like they get one shot at it. You don't get it. The next team goes. And so these are two bad offenses. These are two bad offenses.
Penn State was never ranked.
Yeah.
Penn State ranked 7. No.
Penn State. The thing that I always saw was like that it was not a good offense, and it was a very good defense with a bad offense. And I mean, their defense did what it had to do. I think that it was, they scored 20 on 9 overtimes. That's what they gave up. They have the athletes. They got the horses over there. So, but yeah, I didn't like it. Before it was you would still go off from the 25 and then
go for 2.
And then go for 2. Exactly. And then go for 2. And so I think they changed it. I think it actually would have shortened the game if they would have just done it the regular way, because they would have got pushed back or kicked a field goal. If anything, maybe they after the second or third overtime go from the 25-yard line to like the 35-yard line and then go from there and still add the 2-point conversions, because man, it took forever. It was a good extra hour of football, because not only do they go, all right, you get a chance, and then the other team gets a chance to score their 2-point conversion, but then they're swapping sides of the field.
Yeah, stay on the same side.
So they were going back and forth to each side of the field, And I mean, if you had a dog in the fight, I guess maybe it was exciting. But man, I was just like, man, this needs to hurry up and stop.
That's because you wanted to watch UCLA lose to Oregon.
I did.
That's why right now, what you're saying is completely subjective. So I'm just listening to you.
Well, let's put it this way. Would you want to watch Penn State play offense?
I don't watch Penn State at all. I don't think.
Okay, good. But now just think of them. They're a very good defensive team. They're playing offense now. Would you want to watch that?
That has nothing to do with the rule. But
no, I'm telling you're saying I'm being very subjective. So now I'm being objective. I'm trying to put it back on you. Would you want to watch Penn State play offense? Yes or no?
I want to watch an exciting game if I got no dog in the fight. And
you're not answering the question. If you like watching offensive football, do you like watching would you watch Penn State play offense? If that's all you had a chance to do, is watch it.
So let me ask you a question by answering that question.
Oh my gosh.
If that was Ohio State versus Alabama doing the same thing with the same results, would you be saying the same thing?
No, because those are two good football teams and they have two.
So it's not the rules. It's not the rules you're against. It's who you are watching.
Well, but at the same time, I didn't think the rules needed to be changed. So maybe if it was two good teams, that would change it. But if it was two bad teams, I think the old rules apply both ways, and it still applies both ways before. Because that was
the rules.
Because that was it was the rules. Because the Miami, Ohio State national championship, they went by the old rules. I think I would have even been okay with the old rules in this Penn State Illinois game if they had the old rules. Just because there's more play. Like you saw, like there's no continuity in the drive either. You get one shot at it, and then it's like, okay, you're done. You can't set up plays, so it's not a real.
So I want you to consider this: Georgia, Alabama, national championship game, and now that's the situation. And every play is the most important play of the game from here on out. That's exciting.
I mean, in theory, it is. But part of it, it's like like I never liked the NFL overtime rules, like the first points used to win, right? That was the old rule. So it'd be just let's hurry up and kick a field goal. I didn't like that. I always like the college rule. Both teams get a chance on offense and defense, and then you have to try and stop it. So I always thought it was good. I think the new rule is not good because you don't get to run your regular offense on a set of downs. I think that's
you're running to your 2-point conversion offense.
Yeah, and how many plays do you have on that anyway?
One. You have a few plays.
You might have 4 to 5. I don't know what but you're not running your offense anymore. You're not setting up your run game like you normally would. So it's like these teams that couldn't throw the ball, they're just trying to throw the ball into the end zone and they're not completing them. So it's not fun. So at least if you're in the regular rules, I mean you have your set of downs, so you're going to run through your offense. So your red zone offense at least has a lot more you have a lot more offense in your red zone than you do for your 2-point conversion stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean it's all
I didn't know they changed
preference, right? So
I'm
not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying there's two different teams, you may feel differently. Because if the first question you asked me, you want to see Penn State's offense. That's got nothing to do with the.
Oh, it does, because that was my criticism of the NFL stuff, because it seemed like you took out one side's defense or offense. It's like it was basically who won the coin toss and who was able to get into field goal range first. Yeah, and I personally I don't like seeing game-winning field goals. I'd rather see game-winning touchdowns.
Okay.
I didn't come to see your kicker kick or the kicker kick. I want to see offense and defense.
Well, when the Rams beat New Orleans to get to the Super Bowl, I was perfectly happy with the 56-yard field goal.
Yeah, no, I and the flow of the game. Yeah,
in overtime,
but overtime, it's just like, hey, it's been like, hey, let's get into field goal range, and that's boring to me. That's boring to me. So let's go to the Oregon UCLA game. Exciting game. It was fun to watch. I missed the first quarter because of the Illinois game, and I missed the best part of football they had played. for the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. The 14-0 lead.
Yeah. They had multiple touchdowns, blocked punts, defensive stops. I had to go and rewatch it, and it was like, yeah, it was a great start to the first quarter. Great start. But that's not the first time that they've done that. And then the wheels come off.
Well, um, A, UCLA is not good. So I had zero expectations of winning. However, I actually thought that they would hang with Oregon. You know what? I said, this could be a better game than I'm giving UCLA credit for. And they stepped up. And they did play well. Oregon's running back scored 4 touchdowns. Their quarterback had a long run. UCLA came back. Thibodeau absolutely annihilated your right tackle.
He got hurt. He got hurt in the first half.
You know what? Thibodeau owned him, hurt, healthy, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's outstanding.
You should have given this guy some help. The running back, double teaming him some kind of way. This guy just destroyed. He was a one-man wrecking crew.
Well, it was actually the interior guys were the ones that were doing a lot of the interior guys were the ones that were doing a lot of the work, and then so that's why Thibodeau was getting one-on-ones. But there was one play where they had a tight end on him, and I was like, that was not a good look.
Thibodeau,
and the tight end is a receiving tight end, not a blocking tight end.
Maybe somebody,
you know who is actually the lead dog in that defense?
Who?
I think the linebacker. Noah Sewell. Oh my gosh. So if you go back to the Ohio State game, Thibodeau was out, and I don't know how he's been in college because I didn't watch a lot of Oregon, but he was a superstar recruit. Justin Flo was also out. So those two guys were out against Ohio State. Noah Sewell
which made the win that much more impressive.
It does. Because I think most other teams and those are two. They're talking about the Thibodeau kid as the top pick. I mean, I think top 5 for sure. I don't know who needs what. These guys are superstar athletes. I think back, and I'm trying to think. You see, Myles Garrett, Chase Young. I'm not sure if
they're all doing good.
I'm not sure if Thibodeau. When I see Thibodeau, I'm not sure if I see those guys though, because that's who I think of like the superstar, like top. Yeah, you spend it, and I don't even think Chase Young was a number 1 pick, right? He might have been the second.
I think it was the second or third pick.
Yeah, and I love Chase Young, like watching him since he was a freshman. So I don't know if Thibodeau, to me, like I would have put those guys ahead of him, but they're saying a top 5 pick, and he looks like a top 5 pick. That's what I'm trying to say. But to me, Sewell, like I saw him, and there was like, dude, when they were recruiting him, they had him listed like at 6'1", 260. I was like, dude, that sounds like a kid you're gonna move up and grow into like a defensive lineman. But like, nope, I was wrong about that kid. Like, no way. Like, this kid is all linebacker. He is a force, and he was fun to watch. Like my allegiance UCLA was superseded by his just talent. It was just like, hey, this kid is fun to watch, and he's the one I think is the actual engine in that defense.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing that impressed me, Oregon better than UCLA. So
yeah.
But when your quarterback got hurt, that second string quarterback came in after sitting for 3 hours and threw 2 nice passes.
Big time ones. I think it was like a fourth down pass in there.
Yeah,
too.
It's like, man, that's a nice pass.
Yeah.
Considering you've been sitting down all day.
You think the game is over. You just got your popcorn. Like, oh, I'm just along for the ride. They're driving.
Yeah.
I'll say this about the quarterback from UCLA. He's a tough kid. He's super tough.
Backup?
The starter. Dorian Thompson. He's a tough kid. He takes shots. Very good runner, but the passing is not the like you saw.
I don't know why Chip Kelly still has him out there.
Honestly. He's
no one else.
Well, we have the Garbers kid. That's the kid that came in. He's a transfer from Washington.
Why ain't he in there?
I don't know.
Your season's been over for weeks. Your season ended when you lost to Fresno. Why is he still in there?
Well, this might be his chance to see the new kid. He got hurt Dorian Thompson Robinson got hurt at the end of the half or in the game, and so the reports are that he's was in a sling and wasn't throwing. And I mean, we're at Tuesday now.
How many losses you got in the
Pac-12? That was in the Pac-12 to ASU, and
who's got this is terrible. So, no.
I don't know who the leader. I don't know who the leader is because I
think it's ASU.
I knew. Yeah, I think ASU is.
And they beat you, right? They beat UCLA.
Yeah, but I think ASU just lost also. Again.
I
think so. They lost to BYU and they lost to somebody else.
Utah, but Utah was a conference.
Oh yeah, Utah. Yeah.
Even though BYU's 4-0 against the Pac-12, but
yeah, I was gonna say that they
San Diego State got like 3-0.
They should have been in the Pac-12. They should have joined them in the Pac-12, but
they'd be winning that thing every year with a mediocre team.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a Utah, Oregon. This is just nasty, terrible. You know what?
Oh, you know what I was going to tell you? The offensive coordinator, I didn't know this, from Oregon, he had some kind of like surgery before the Stanford game that they lost. So he wasn't there coaching for the Stanford game.
Are you giving me this for information or is it an excuse why Stanford beat Oregon?
I'm giving you as information and a possible excuse.
Okay. No excuse. Let's get that straight. They lost and they're not going to the playoffs because the strength of schedule.
Well, no, Ohio State's going to keep on winning. That game is, and we're talking about without two of their primetime players.
So here's what's interesting.
Then we'll talk about if the loss is early enough too, right? Like that's
but you
helpful.
Know what though? So right now, Ohio State is clearly the better team, but head to head, Oregon beat them.
They did,
and it's going to be interesting because next week the College Football Playoff Committee is going to rank them.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And right now, people think Ohio State's ranked number 2 with the way they're playing right now. But Oregon beat them and they have the same record. So it's like, now, granted, Ohio State's going to play way more ranked teams because they got Michigan State coming up. They got Michigan coming up. They got Penn State coming up.
The Penn State this weekend.
Okay, right. So Penn State's this weekend, but that lost its luster, but still they're ranked.
Yeah, it
right?
did. Yeah, they're still at 20. They're at 20, I think.
Yeah. But Oregon has nothing on their schedule. So it's going to be interesting on how the CFP determines head-to-head competition.
I don't know. We'll see because the Oregon quarterback has been struggling. He got booed last week.
And you lost your running back. Oregon lost their running back.
The starter, yeah. Vardell.
But they don't need him against the Pac-12.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there's nothing for them to play. They got a bunch of UCLAs left on their schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why I say the strength of schedule hurts the Pac-12. When Oregon lost, it ruined them because you got nothing.
Yeah, I think they had done like their percentages, and it was like the SEC had a 93%, and then I think because the Big Ten had like 60%, and they went on down the line.
Percentage of what?
The chance to make it to the playoffs. Probability. So like a 93% chance. The
SEC got a 90% chance of 2 teams making it. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm going off the top of my head from what the infographic was, and it had the Pac-12 like at 3% or something like that.
3% is too high.
Stupid, man.
3% is too high.
Let's move on to the valiant Miami team versus NC State.
So here's the thing.
You had texted me Miami finds a way to lose, so I it was off my radar, and I checked the scores before this. I was like, oh my gosh, they actually won.
They did.
Manny Diaz is gonna get a contract extension.
No. I'm not you. I'm not myopic about my team. Diaz needs to go. Miami has clawed and fought in every single game. They just find a way to lose every time. This time they hung on and win, and Tyler Van Dyke looked like he's going to be a really good quarterback for
Oh,
Miami.
they got the new quarterback in. I keep on forgetting that.
Yeah. And he did very well, made some great plays, did some sidearm Patrick Mahomes stuff. It's going to be interesting because next year when Jake Garcia is healthy, Van Dyke's got the advantage. Are you going to be able to keep both quarterbacks? Garcia could play somewhere. Why would he sit? So,
well, I mean, he's gonna take. If we're looking at how quarterbacks have normally operated now in this new era, he's gonna take his shot in mini camp or fall camp to try and win the spot, and then go from there. And then the season, this is football. Injuries happen, an opportunity arises, and then after that, I think then he would take a look at somewhere else. But the thing too is it might not.
Red shirts.
I think the thing that might not matter though is if you guys didn't get a new coach, you're going to have a new offensive staff anyway, and the new offense is they're going to be starting from a blank slate anyway.
Yeah, but true as far as knowing the system.
Mm-hmm. But as far as college reps, then yeah, I mean,
yeah. But what's probably going to happen if I was him is a red shirt. You haven't played. You played one.
I mean, I think that'd probably be a given anyway. But I'm talking if we're talking about transferring, whether he's a redshirt freshman next year or a sophomore, it's still going to be, do I win the quarterback spot? No, then I'll look somewhere else to play.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? The kid moved around a lot in high school, so
that's why it's not far fetched that
he would leave.
Yeah.
So what happened in the Miami North Carolina State game? Because North Carolina State was actually a top 25 team.
They were top 18 team. They were ranked
top 18.
Well, it was ranked 18th in the country.
not top 25.
They were touting a great defense, and Miami drove the ball, and they didn't choke this time.
31-30.
31-30. I thought that North Carolina State would drive, get the ball back and drive to win it, but Miami stepped up. So,
did you get to watch the game?
Some of it.
Does our boy James Williams get to play at all?
I don't know, man, what Manny Diaz is doing. He's just happy for that the quarterback really stepped up. So,
I mean, the quarterback is crucial in all the programs.
What's so frustrating about this conversation?
The
ACC was available for Miami to take, and now it's going to go to Pitt or Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Wake Forest scored 70 points.
70 points, but they gave up
56 to Army.
I was like, wait a minute, are they playing college basketball already?
To Army, man, you can't give up 56 to Army. That's like saying it's hard to prepare for Navy. No, athletically, you've got all the talent. You are better than them. So Wake Forest, as soon as they play somebody really good, they're not going to be able to put up 70 on them, but someone else is going to be able to put up 56 on them.
Yeah. The ACC is not good this year, man. It's crazy how bad they are. Well, I mean, it's really big. It's really Clemson. Clemson is not good this year. They lost again.
Clemson isn't good, but Wake Forest is undefeated. Pitt's ranked. Pac-12 has one ranked team.
Well, the ACC still has to play each other.
They are playing each other.
No, they still have, I mean, like, who has Wake Forest played? I mean,
I don't know.
They might not, they'll probably lose to Clemson. Both of those. Do they play each other?
They're not losing to Clemson.
Who? Wake Forest?
Clemson can't score points.
Doesn't matter. It's still Clemson. They'll find a way.
Lots of Boston College. Get out of here.
It's still Wake Forest, man. Come on.
I don't care. Clemson's been losing to everybody they play. What are you talking about?
Come on.
Tell you what.
You think that the Clemson or Wake Forest is going to go undefeated in the ACC?
I don't know. They still got to play Pitt. Those two teams are both undefeated in the ACC.
Pitt has a loss already. Oh, it was out of conference. I think it was early, right?
And they already beat Wake. They already beat Clemson.
Pitt did. Yeah, they just did.
Yeah. And I knew they would beat Clemson.
Yeah, we had talked about that. We weren't
Clemson,
we weren't
Clemson
surprised.
can't compete with a team that has an offense because their offense is not clicking.
It's not clicking.
They have no running game. They have no line.
Yeah.
And your boy's struggling.
Well, if there's no running game and no line, then yeah.
He's going to struggle,
Yeah.
especially as a freshman. So I'm not even holding that against him, but they're not talking about benching him either. So
no. Iowa, Okie State. Did you watch that game? I watched some of it.
I watched some of it.
Didn't we say that this is what Oklahoma State does? They get in there, they get ranked, and then So
the bad thing is they're gonna play Oklahoma hard.
Of course, it's that rivalry game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually won that game because that is the rivalry. They are a dangerous team. The quarterback is athletic; he can run. Sanders. I think it's Zach Sanders or something. I think it's Zach Sanders. Sanders is the last name for sure, but yeah, he can run and he can sling it all around. And if he catches on the right Saturday, he's good enough. And it's not like they don't have athletes there at Okie State. They have them all.
At least you don't have to worry about them going to playoffs.
Yeah, that's
I want the best 4 teams. Mm-hmm. I don't want somebody sneaking in because they ran the table, got a lucky win somewhere. Mm-hmm. That would have been Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it would have been lucky, but you would know that when it was time to play with the big boys that they didn't belong. Like they're the playoff teams at the top and those playoff contenders that are vying for that 4th spot that you're like, yeah, these are the teams that can do it. And then you have that next level. They're in that next level, and that's kind of where they've been. And I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that, right? It's Oklahoma State. It's got enough tradition, but it's not Oklahoma. It's not Texas.
No, it's not the 2 teams going to the SEC. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, that's really it, right? That's the cream of the crop. That's the Big 12. And it was Nebraska when they were in the Big 12, which is crazy.
So now Oklahoma State's going to be the cream of the crop when the leagues are aligned.
Yeah. And that's not what you want as your top teams.
Because they're going to be like, they're not going to playoffs. Mm-hmm. When you got to battle BYU and Cincinnati every year to see who's going to be in the college playoffs, you're not going to be a top 4 team.
No. Yeah, the Big 12, that was a gut punch for that conference. And the American Conference, they got gutted for their best teams. And then I think you might have sent me like who the new teams were coming in were like UAB and Rice.
Texas San Antonio.
Yeah. I think that's a net negative, man. If I'm being honest.
Well,
the SEC, the rich got richer, right? Like that's incredible from that standpoint. But from a overall health of competition across the board for college football, I think it got worse. Because we had talked, one of the first ones that we did that I liked watching the American Conference because it was like, hey, these are like good, solid teams, and now it's like.
Well, so they add BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida. That's really not going to cut it
for the Big 12.
Yes,
and then American Conference adds somebody too, and it doesn't cut it for that conference. So like those 2 conferences to me will end up being
and the Pac-12 stayed pat, and that doesn't help them at all.
No,
because if I'm the Big 12. Or something, maybe someone poaches from the Pac-12, but the Pac-12 don't have anybody worth poaching.
No, you would go Oregon and SC. Those are the
SC by tradition.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oregon just because they're the
SC is a head coach away from being competitive. If and this is me saying that as a UCLA fan, they're a head coach away from being in the college football playoff. It is. It'd just be like Clemson in the ACC.
I don't know.
Urban Meyer.
When's the last time they've been? First of all, they've never been in the playoffs. And
you got to remember they were good, and then they went on probation, and they were on probation for I don't know how long, 5 years, and they went through multiple coaches.
Not that long, but when's the last time SC has been relevant in the national championship hunt?
Probably 2008 or 9, somewhere in there.
So
Wait,
a head coach away for the last 12 years?
When did Pete Carroll leave to Seattle? Whenever he left.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was the last time because the sanctions are coming, so he left. So that's why he left. But you got to remember too, it's not easy to find a coach. I mean, when's the last time Miami's been relevant?
A couple years ago when we went 10-0.
Come on, man. You know that was just smoking.
You asked the question. They were ranked number 3.
Nobody was talking about Miami in the playoff hunt.
What do you mean they weren't? They ran the table. They would have been in. They lost the pit. That ended.
We knew just like we know Cincinnati doesn't belong in the college football playoffs. We know that Miami did not belong. Come on.
The question you asked me was not
whether don't try and don't know your seat. Now you're playing.
Asked was when's the last time they were relevant? So right now
no. If we're gonna look at it, you were saying when's the last time SC was relevant to the college football discussion that they were in that top group, and I said that it's been since Pete Carroll was there, right? And then so I try to bring it back to you in the same. And Miami it was when we were 10 because Miami hasn't been relevant since Butch Davis left, and Larry Coker went off of his.
We were 10-0.
And you knew
40-8.
No. See now you're trying to play
turnover chain was rocking
the turnover change. Get out.
And we went to Pitt and fell apart. And the funny thing is, I think I told you we're going to lose to Pitt.
Exactly. See, you're trying to tell me that you were relevant, but we all knew.
Yeah, we're ranked number 3 in the country.
We all knew that this was not a good football team.
We were relevant. We just lost.
We knew they were going to lose. We knew they weren't in that top caliber. That's the point.
We were still relevant. It's like when
UCLA was relevant. They were in the top 25 this year.
Yes, they were relevant.
They were 2-0. They beat mighty LSU.
No,
we knew this wasn't a championship team. That's the point I'm trying to make.
We knew when you were 2-0, you were a champion. No, you're comparing. You're comparing ranked.
No, see, you're trying to take relevancy. It's like, oh, we were in the top 20. Dude, we knew Miami.
We were three.
Well, you were 10-0. You were 10-0.
Left in the season. You're relevant.
You were 10-0, and we knew it was paper champions.
You remember when Ole Miss and Mississippi State were ranked 1 and 2?
Yeah.
They were relevant, but guess what? I knew that wasn't going to stay that way.
Well, they still had a brutal conference to go through.
Right, but they were relevant.
Well, they were relevant because they actually looked like playoff teams at the time. From what I remember, they looked good. That was Hugh Freeze and Dan Mullen, right? I don't know what year. That was the Robert Kimdichie Ole Miss, I think, right? If I'm
the guy that broke his leg,
that jumped out of the hotel or something like that. Robert Kimdichie, the defensive tackle.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was a top recruit. They had a bunch of dogs up front in Ole Miss, and I think that might have been Dak's.
You think Ole Miss is relevant right now?
Yeah, they are. Well, if we're gonna say playoff hunt, that's the difference that we're talking about. Because you're trying to say SC wasn't in the playoff hunt; they weren't relevant. That's what you're attaching it to. Yes, they're relevant right now, but I don't think Ole Miss is going to make it to the playoffs. That's the point we're arguing. Are they playoff worthy?
No.
Yeah.
They're in another conference? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In the SEC? No.
They still got more of that gauntlet to run. So I mean, we're already here. So let's look at the top 25 really quick.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about Cincinnati for a minute.
Why do you want to talk about Cincinnati?
They're ranked number 2 in the country.
Okay. Well, let me go to the top 25. We'll see them right now.
Okay. Why do I feel like I'm being attacked right now? Why do you want to talk about Cincinnati? Don't attach them to UCLA and USC.
Let's see. Georgia, Florida, Cincinnati's at number 2. They barely won last week. They're playing mighty Tulane this week.
Wait a minute. That Georgia, Florida. So You think Florida stepped up for Bama? They can score points. Do you think you got any shot at all in the greatest cocktail in the world? I think it's what they call it.
Greatest cocktail party.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a shot. I mean, yeah, I mean that is a rivalry game too, right?
Who does Georgia have left? So they pretty much want to be undefeated when they play Bama. They're undefeated when they play Bama, regardless of what happens they're in.
Florida, Mizzou, Tennessee, Charleston Southern, and then Georgia Tech.
So they only got two more conference games. Okay.
3 more. Florida, Mizzou, Tennessee.
After Florida, I meant after Florida. Yeah.
And Tennessee's they don't look bad.
No, that's at Tennessee. That is not going to be an easy one.
I mean, Tennessee. I mean, they're feisty. From what I've seen, they were feisty against Bama. That was a close game for a while till Bama pulled away late, and that just looks like the talent just takes over after time. That's what it looks like. Yeah, Mizzou.
That's a massive.
I haven't seen them play, but
massive curve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would be a shock if Florida won, but like you said, it's at the Swamp.
No, it's not. It's
at Florida,
Jacksonville. It's a neutral site where they play.
I
know it shows that Florida, but I believe they're going to be the home team, but I think the game's at Jacksonville. Go ahead, check my brilliance.
What is it? TIA Bankfield. That doesn't sound like strange that they would put them.
From now on, moving forward, don't ever question me again. How about that?
Trust the experts.
Thank you for calling me an expert.
Cincinnati, Tulane, Bama, LSU.
He just runs right by Cincinnati. Let me ask you a question. Is Cincinnati relevant?
Well, they're relevant, but they're not. We know they're not. It's not a playoff team. That's the point, right?
Like they're relevant, right?
They're relevant. That's the
right.
issue.
That's all I want to hear. I got nothing to say about Cincinnati.
No, that's the issue they're trying to say, because you said SC hasn't been relevant, and I'm not going to go and remember what the times and they were in the top 25 or they started off 7-0 and people were like, SC is back. I'm not saying any of that. It's like, when was the last time that they were in serious consideration for, whether it was the BCS or the playoffs? They haven't been in consideration since the playoffs. They haven't been in the hunt since, basically Vince Young scored the touchdown and then Pete Carroll left.
Cincinnati is in the conversation and they are relevant.
They're as relevant as Ole Miss and Mississippi State were.
In Miami were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we good?
No, but we're good.
Now I'm being attacked.
Oh wow. But here's the thing. So the only game that they have a shot at losing, in my opinion, is SMU. If they win that game, will a college football committee keep them in the top 4? And who do they take out?
My question for you that I'm really interested in: would you take Sonny Dykes as the Miami head coach?
I don't know how we got on that, but
he's an SMU head coach.
I love the way he runs their offense.
Yeah,
I'll take him.
Yeah,
I need a defensive coordinator because they don't play any defense.
Everybody needs a defensive coordinator.
Wow. Okay, you put it like that.
Well, the thing is, the only defensive coach now that is doing really well, Kirby Smart, exactly. Even Nick Saban's teams in the last 3 or 4 years haven't been.
They've been very
dominant
defensively. Yeah.
Yeah. So you look at the teams that are doing well, all offensive minded. Lane Kiffin is a play caller. Lincoln Riley is a play caller.
Why'd you ask me about that? Did you hear something?
I just think that the Miami job is a step up from the SMU.
Well,
And
yeah,
I think he would be a great fit with the athletes that they have there. The only thing is that Sonny Dykes was a coach at Cal before he got fired and went at SMU. He didn't do very well at Cal.
wasn't he somewhere?
He's part of Mike Leach's tree.
I like Michael Leach, but
I
wasn't
do.
he at Oklahoma State before though?
Sonny Dykes.
Yeah.
He probably was. He might have. He might. I think. Mike Leach before he went to Texas Tech was over there at Oklahoma, and he might have been there with Mike Leach at Oklahoma with Bob Stoops.
Oklahoma or Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma.
I'll take Sonny Dykes.
Yeah.
I like the way SMU plays. They put up points.
On the other coach, Ed Orgeron, he can recruit like crazy, but you know, just like
He's got some personal problems.
He's a defensive coach, but you need. I'm just talking strictly just football. Like I don't know what all the other stuff.
I know, but that affects the football though.
Yeah. The other one, Art Briles has come up as the SMU. No, the Texas Tech coach.
Really?
Yeah, Art Briles, his name has come up. He's
a lot of that stuff that he was being blamed for is showing that
really he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy got smeared, man.
So I'd look at Art Briles. I'd also still like your boy Cristobal in Oregon, but I don't see any reason for him to leave.
No. They're recruiting well.
And Miami's doesn't like throw out a ton of cash. So Dykes would be a really good
do what you can with what you can get there.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be he wouldn't cost very much more money than whatever they're paying Manny Diaz.
And he'd do very well with the Miami quarterbacks.
Oh yeah. If speaking of transfers, Rattler, I think would do well to go to like SMU and play for somebody like that, or with Mike Leach down at Mississippi State. Rattler
might want to stay in the Power 5 conferences and compete.
Like the SMU's the past two quarterbacks they had. The one right now, Tanner Mordecai, was an Oklahoma quarterback.
Right, so he went down. I'm just saying, stay up.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, is Corral leaving? Corral's leaving.
Ole Miss.
He can go to the NFL now, I think.
I'm not sure because a lot of these kids they were granted another year because of last year. So
who's your top four?
As of right now, Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma, Ohio State. Yep, still the same.
Yeah, same here. Now, why are you picking Ohio State over Oregon?
I just think that. Well, I think Ohio State's better. I think they played them early. I think that's really, really the big thing. You're still trying to find your identity with a new quarterback. I haven't seen them play, to be honest. The big thing on that I would want to see is just the on defense. It looked like they were just getting outmatched.
That's what's changed for them. They're playing defense now
because they have the dogs. I mean, the O-line looks like it's there. There's enough quarterback talent. The receiver talent is outstanding, and the backs look really good. And on defense, it's like, hey, like you have players there, but you know you watch teams now, and I mean, football's passed me up quite a bit now. You just watch what they're doing up front. They're moving all around, and you're just like, well, this is the way that it plays there. This is the way it plays now. And Ohio State, they would line up and stay in their same alignments, and then it was like, oh, this is the look you're going to give us, and you're not going to try and disguise it at all. Okay, we know which way we're going to go, and it looked like they were playing checkers. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, but I'm with you. That's my top.
Oh, I think they've got fired the defensive coach too, didn't they? Or
someone else took. You know what? I think someone else is coaching the defense right
now.
No,
I remember. I might have sent you.
Is it his son or he didn't fire?
It might have been his son. Somebody got promoted, and I was like, dang, his son, because I thought his son was like in junior high or something like that, but I guess he's got a grown son or something like that. And it's like,
I think his son's coaching the defense.
That might be it. So that was the big thing for me. It's like on offense, it looked like they were still, putting up enough points and doing that whole thing. But on defense, they just looked like
They
they
got
were.
that running back,
Yeah.
Henderson. They got Oles.
They had the freshman running back, but then there was the other kid. I mean, I haven't watched him in a while, and it was just like, man, this kid runs physical and gets 4 to 5 yards a pop.
Some people think he's better than Bijan. I don't. From Texas.
You think so?
No, I like Bijan. Bijan's a stud.
I like the kid.
Bama's guy's good too, Robinson.
Yeah, he's real thick, man. He's a big boy. There's quite a few running backs. The
Michigan
kid
State's got a good one.
That was about to say the Michigan State kid. Snoop Connor down at Ole Miss. Have you seen him? He is electric.
No, I think Ole Miss. I think a Corral in their receiver.
Snoop Connor, man.
Really?
YouTube, he's exciting. He is really exciting. He is fast. He runs physical. Him and I mean, from what I'm off the top of my head, him and the kid from Michigan State. I can't think of his name right now. Those are the two, lightning fast guys, but they're big enough to handle the everyday, the pounding that comes with being a every down back. So those two guys.
Who do you like coming up this week? The games.
So we got Ole Miss and Auburn.
I like Ole Miss.
You like Ole Miss? See where they're playing it. It's at Auburn. Which Bo Nix is going to show up?
Yeah, and I know which Corral's showing up. So Ole Miss is undefeated if they don't have Bama on their schedule. So until they lose, I'll rock with them.
Yeah, I like Lane Kiffin, man. I like me some Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan versus Michigan State. I'm going Michigan on this one. I'm not a believer in Michigan State. They look, after watching them, I mean, we talked about like Oklahoma not playing well and just winning against Kansas, but Michigan State just looked terrible against a bad Miami team to me.
I don't like either team, but I know that Michigan has struggled against Michigan State, especially there. They've struggled.
It is an East Lansing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Michigan State.
Are you?
Yeah. Michigan is going to struggle against Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan State. So those three, this is just the first of the three.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing with Cincinnati and Michigan, right? That's what we're not talking about. Them is like we just, this doesn't, they're quote unquote relevant, to use your phrase,
until they lose, until they're not, right?
So I'm going Michigan on that one. Penn State, Ohio State, it lost its luster, but I think massacre. I don't know if it'll be a massacre because Penn State can play defense.
Where's it at?
Penn State will show up and play at Ohio State.
You know what? So Illinois was a letdown game for Penn State, but I didn't think Penn State was that good anyway.
It's the offense. The offense has a hard time scoring. That was the issue. Their defense played the game that it was supposed to play against everybody so far this year. It's just will the offense score points, and so
is Franklin Stock down now because they were talking about him for SC.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt him.
I don't remember his background, if he was an offensive coach or what, but
I don't know. I just know he did a good job at Vanderbilt, and he's been decent at Penn State.
Well, they were really good when they had Trace McSorley and Saquon.
Yeah,
but the offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator at Oregon, Joe Moorhead. So he went from Penn State to Mississippi State after Dan Mullen left, and then he got fired at Mississippi State, and then he went to Oregon.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So he's a good offensive coordinator. I'm not sure how his head coach. That's a different hat that they got to wear. But yeah, Franklin's offenses haven't looked good since Joe Moorhead left and McSorley and Saquon. Which, I mean, those are tremendous talents.
The boy went to Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, Burrows left and Chase left too.
But I think that goes back to how good a job that Saban has done, because yes, you have to have talent, and the talent at LSU is still the same talent that Penn State talent on. You can see it; they got dudes. It's just the offensive coordinator. Yeah, the offensive coordinator job is such an important. I think it's underrated how important those guys are. Yeah, that's why I said, hey, the offensive coordinator wasn't there for the Stanford game.
Okay.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Okay.
Penn State, Ohio State.
You were setting me up. Okay.
That's all I have for this week.
Wait a minute. That's who's Alabama play? Georgia plays Florida.
LSU. No, that's not till November 6th.
Bama's got a bye.
Yeah.
Who's
Oklahoma, Texas Tech. Hold on, let me put the screen up so you can see.
You blinded me. You didn't want to hear me anymore, so you took away. Let's see. Cincinnati at Tulane. They should not struggle in that game. Tulane, wait a minute. Tulane gave Oklahoma all they can handle, remember?
Yeah, that was early though. That was Spencer Rattler, Tulane, or Spencer Rattler, Oklahoma.
Still, they hung with Oklahoma.
The quarterback that was playing that game has been benched.
Okay, right. Colorado has not beaten Oregon.
That's not a good football team.
Iowa versus Wisconsin. Irrelevant.
I could see Wisconsin winning too, but it's not something there.
So here's what could bring down Cincinnati a little bit. Notre Dame versus North Carolina. North Carolina can win that game. Yeah. It has been inconsistent.
Are you interested in this Kentucky-Mississippi State game?
I like Mississippi State.
Do you? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Mike Leach. The watching them against Bama, I mean, they were moving the ball, but Bama would make a play on it in the air. On the defense, the defensive backs would make a play for Bama, and that would end it. But in between, they were making them. So, the quarterback gets hot and makes those plays, and I think Kentucky would be in trouble. How about
Wake Forest?
Texas A&M has a bye.
Wait, back up, man. Move up one. I know you don't want to talk about these guys.
Come on, man.
Wake Forest gonna beat Duke. Wake Forest gonna be 8-0.
Wake Forest, my gosh.
8-0.
We have to talk about Wake Forest.
8-0. Scoring all those points.
Old Dominion. Was this Norfolk State, Florida State?
The least amount of points they've scored is 35. Look, they lit up Virginia.
Man.
They lit up Louisville. They lit up Syracuse. They lit up Army.
They gave up 56 to Army.
What?
They gave up 56 to Army, man. Come on.
Well, they gave up to all those schools. They gave up 34 to Louisville, 37 to Q's. 56 are they don't have any defense.
They have the actual.
Where will they lose?
They have
Where
actually
will they lose?
the best
they play
schedule.
Clemson. Where are they going to lose though?
Clemson probably.
They're going to beat Clemson.
Man, Clemson is not going to lose the rest of their games. They're going to win. There's a proud program.
Click on Clemson. Click on them.
That's a proud program, man.
Click on unranked Clemson.
Let's see. Georgia, they beat South Carolina State. Let me see. Hold on. This Georgia Tech, NC State. Oh man, Miami beat NC State and they didn't. Jeez.
Yep. They're going to beat Florida State.
Louisville, UConn.
They're going to lose to Louisville. They'll beat UConn. They're going to lose to Wake Forest, and they'll beat South Carolina. They'll lose 2 more games.
As long as they beat Wake, so we have to listen about Wake.
You don't want Wake nowhere near nothing.
Don't you? I mean, you don't want them. It's the same thing with Cincinnati. You don't want them.
They're not gonna. Don't worry about Wake. They can run the table. They won't be there. I'd rather see them play Cincinnati in a play-in game, right?
Yeah, I would like that. I would actually like that.
I think they would beat Cincinnati.
I would like that. No, I think Cincinnati would win.
Maybe
I would like that. I actually would like. That's a good idea. That would
have some playing games.
Yeah,
top 6, 2 playing games.
That would actually be pretty. That would be really cool to see the playing game for that.
Top 6 would be Michigan at go up. It would be Michigan at Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Michigan at
Ohio State.
No.
Are you saying? Where were you going from? From 6 to 10?
It'd be Michigan versus
Ole
it would
Miss?
be a playing game to get in. You'd have to have 3 and 4 as part of that. Interesting.
Also, you say Michigan plays Michigan State, and then Oregon plays Iowa.
You can't because you got four teams in there.
So you're basically playing 6 and 7 then.
Yeah. So if you got 6 teams, then 1 and 2 get a bye, and then you got Bama versus Michigan, Ohio State versus Oklahoma.
I think they had thrown that idea around though of having a playing game once they went to 8 or something like that, but I haven't been following that too closely.
No, I think they're going to expand. I mean, why would Oklahoma and Texas lead the Big 12 if they're not going to expand? Oklahoma doesn't have a prayer in the SEC.
Interesting game might be this SMU Houston. Wow, how's Houston doing? The Houston coach was the old West Virginia coach. I liked him. They put up a lot of points. That actually might be a Miami candidate too. How are they doing? Let's see, what's the record?
Houston, they're 6-1.
6-1. They lost it. They beat Rice, Grambling, Navy, Tulsa, Tulane, East Carolina. So this is a big game for them. Yeah. SMU. That'd put them on the map.
Need SMU to win. Wait a minute. Houston's what? 6-1.
Yeah, they lost to Texas Tech.
Is Houston the same conference as
That's the American Conference. So SMU.
So that's a non-conference game for Cincinnati when they play SMU.
No, that's a conference game for them.
Well, I don't see Cincinnati on their schedule.
See right here.
Oh, because they're on the other side. Okay.
Oh, I don't know if they're on their side or they just don't play a round robin.
Don't they have conference championships?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there's 11 teams, so they must have just skipped them this year.
They don't have conference championships? I guess not.
I don't know. It's not a one that would have been really relevant.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe they do it the way the that's going to hurt Cincinnati if they don't have a conference championship, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It's just like Baylor that one year.
Yeah, I think they do it like the Big 12, the top 2 teams. Interesting. All right, that's SMU.
Texas San Antonio's in the top 25. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. All right, I think that's all I got for this week. I guess the big game, Michigan, they kind of lost. Well, the Penn State Ohio State game would have been a lot bigger if they had won. So now,
yeah, that's a 9 a.m. game. That's Eastern time. So yeah.
Who does Miami play?
I just saw it. Does it matter? Pitt. We play Pitt.
All right.
Oh boy.
Hopefully James Williams gets a run, man. I just want to see the kid play. Just let him play. UCLA plays Utah. I think the Garbers kid might be getting the start, so we'll see.
Where's that game at? Utah,
yeah. It's a tough place to play. Cold.
And Oregon plays who?
I don't know.
Colorado.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
fine.
All right, man. I think that's we're good for this week, brother. Always appreciate you, man.
Thank you for attacking me.
I've been attacked. I'm not relevant.
I didn't say that. You did.
All right, man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right.